Hello and welcome to Alternate Image Raid. This is a Raid Shadow Legends video, and today we're going to talk about Fire Knight. We're going to drop a team for you that can do Fire Knight in technically under a minute and almost 100% success chance for stage 20 here, which is one of the most common ones you want to farm for getting your gear and getting points for tournaments and so forth. I'm going to show you the run real quick. We got Seer, we got Alure, we got Lydia, we got Coldheart, and we got Kymar. And there's a little bit of flexibility here, but not a lot with this specific setup. Although we'll talk a little bit after I've gone through everything on this team about some variants you can do. Let's just get into this run real quick. The key part is just dropping a bunch of buffs here so that she can wipe the waves. And honestly, it doesn't take that many buffs with this team, which is pretty nice because they're getting the double defense down and weaken. And then Allure basically solos the boss in terms of the turn meter. This team kind of relies on Allure for the turn meter, but there are kind of other options as long as you got good multi-hitters with some turn meter on your team. The one thing that can make this team not 100% chance is since Allure is weak affinity to this force affinity level boss, she technically could have 6 weak hits in a row or something like that, and if that happens, then the boss will get a turn and it's pretty much lights out. Now on this one I use Coldheart here because her boss damage is probably second to none other than maybe Ninja. My personal use here, the Coldheart actually deals a little bit faster than Ninja on my team. But Ninja does still have potentially the option of having a triple hit with the A3. We'll see. We're going to sell this. We're going to see most of the damage is Seer from those waves. Coldheart doing a pretty good amount on the boss. Everybody else in just there is support. So I'm going to go show you the stats on these champions. We're going to show you the AI. I'll take you to the run one more time. And then we can talk a little bit about possibly some alternatives for this team. So let's get this ad out of our way. We're going to get in here, recently used first. So for those who've watched the rest of the videos, we'll see some of these champs have been popping up repeatedly. These are not tuned specifically for this dungeon. This gives you a lot of flexibility in how you do this. For her, speed, accuracy, really all that matters here. Masteries, we're going to go down and get this for extra boss damage. Now, as long as you have, again, your accuracy over, say, 250 and a good amount of speed, you're going to be fine for this champion on this boss. We're going to go check out Kymar here next. Same thing, speed and accuracy. The accuracy doesn't actually matter as much on this guy because he's not landing any debuffs that are relevant. But we're going to check this out. The speed here, just decent stats. Again, for this guy, the speed actually matters. Really easy to gear if you don't have something particularly awesome. We'll see. I have him in a couple of blues because they're just what worked out. Mastery, same. We're going to go down here and pick up this War Master. Now Seer, the only one that actually takes relatively tough gearing, and it's not that it's that hard, it's just to make sure that you can wipe the waves without having more buffs on her. Have her in Savage, have her with a decent amount of crit damage, full crit rate, and the accuracy doesn't technically matter for this team because she's not tripping any of their buffs, but it's a good all-rounder thing to have on this champ. Now Allure needs as much speed as you can possibly get. I've been trying to push her up so I can do 25, and at 25 she needs, I think, like 285 to 290. Again, accuracy is going to need to be 250 or higher. 100% crit rate is required for her abilities to proc, and then just generally good damage if you can get it, but mostly high speed, accuracy, 100% crit rate. The reason for that 100% crit rate is this ability here only decreases on crit hit. This is what keeps the boss under control. These other two abilities, they just don't matter. Because we're triple hitting, we're going to go Giant Slayer for extra boss damage. Finally, Coldheart. Coldheart is the most flexible. I have this one in Savage just because it is more damage. The speed requirements are not high. Accuracy should actually be a little bit higher to make sure that her turn meter reduction will land 250 or better. Otherwise, as much crit damage as possible. Crit rate only needs to be at 70% because this ability is the only one that really matters, and it gets a bonus 30% crit chance. So now I'm going to show you the AI for this raid, and then we're going to take it through one more time so you can kind of see how this works now that you've gotten a little bit of a look at what these champions are doing. So the AI, it's pretty similar to any team that you're seeing with Seer and with Kymar. And I think I passed my team down here at the very bottom. So we're going to set her Karma Burn, which is her main damage. It does HP based damage, strips buffs, and just hits really hard. This is what wipes the waves. Use it first and don't use it. We don't want to risk of it going again. Same, use it first, don't use it. And then here I actually wanted to use knockout first because I wanted to do one hit on the boss. I don't want to risk karma burn being kind of wasted. I don't want clan banner to just not do anything because the boss can't be taking the weaken hit yet anyway. Doesn't matter, doesn't matter. Only use this. We only wanted to hit this, decrease the boss and those Giant Slayer procs. That's it. Decrease turn meter, Giant Slayer procs. Now, this guy here, we are having him do this first just because it does a little bit more damage. And then don't use this right away. We don't want to get that on the first turn. Here, we just want him to use that. And then it actually doesn't matter what he does. Most likely they're dead, but by then you're going to be rolling into the boss. On the boss, I said just this because it's a little bit more damage than the Abyssal Gaze. The Poison Chance has a chance of going. Also, I want to make sure he's using this on the first attack because I do have Evil Eye and the Masteries for that turn meter reduction. Same thing with a lot of these other ones. Just use and don't use again. We don't want it to repeat. Just use first, and then it doesn't actually matter from there. And then here, I want her to use this first because she'll usually come in leading with this for a double hit, extra chance of success on the boss. Doesn't matter, doesn't matter. And then on this, I actually want her to use this as a priority. Sometimes she'll wait until the boss is turn meter side, and then she won't use it very quick. So we set this to priority, except we want this to go first for the 4 hits while the shield is up. This will be really nice to help bring the shield down. So one of the reasons Coldheart is on this team is to make sure the shield does come down quickly because this boss requires you to hit that shield so many times right off the rip. So we got that set. We're going to go back into this and get a chance to see how this team functions. This move doesn't matter. This move doesn't matter. This debuff is what really matters here, and then she kills the waves. Same thing here. Doesn't matter what she's doing. He resets, that does. Debuffs down, strips, kills the waves. Now, we'll notice that that one didn't die. This isn't really going to matter. It does, however, reduce the number of hits we're going to get on this boss right away. And she's going to use that Heartseeker, which is going to slow down the run a little bit compared to what you saw in the first run, but shouldn't affect the success rate. Again, the only chance of this team failing is a seriously unlucky streak of weak hits by Alure. We'll notice the shield is down. Broken, we got in. And now it's just going to rotate through the same way you saw it in the first time. So we're just going to hit. We're going to get those debuffs out. And then this whole thing also, I'd like to mention, is full auto. I don't control any of this. It isn't necessary with the AI program where you can just let this run and you can let it run for as long as you want. The failure rate is like a 0.01% chance probably. I think I've only actually seen it fail 2 or 3 times in hundreds and hundreds of runs. So this is a really solid way to farm. And we'll see, even with a little bit of slowness on that second wave, this is going to get done in, you know, minute 20, minute 25 seconds, depending on if Coldheart's about to do a big hit or not. She didn't, but still, minute 22. You notice the best time that is with this team is at 53 seconds. 53 seconds here is with this team. I found using Ninja here is a little bit slower. So let's talk briefly about some alternatives. Lydia's biggest importance here is that she's bringing the decreased defense and the weaken. Now, if you have somebody else bringing that, like Dracomorph, you can use those instead, but those champions are kind of few and far between. Lydia's the only one you can guarantee yourself to have. Coldheart, again, she's really nice because she's going to do those 4 hits on the boss, and she does a pretty solid amount of damage going in to that with her A3. Now, you could use somebody like Ninja instead of her and just make sure that his A3 is going to go as soon as the boss happens. So you need those extra hits to make sure the boss's shield breaks. Seer in this particular team is mandatory. Alure actually isn't mandatory, but it's going to be much harder for you to get a team that's fast enough to break that shield and then with enough turn meter to make sure it keeps down. Evil Eye Masteries all in the way around is going to help if you want to try to move that. For Alure, I don't really know how she do. Maybe another Coldheart could actually work, but then again, you're going to need probably higher speeds across the board so that your team is taking more turns to break that shield. And that is it for this particular team. This has been an alternate image raid video spinoff for Alternate Image Gaming channel. Links, of course, for that will be in the description below. We have hit now all the dungeons for at least stage 20. We're probably going to start pushing some of the higher ones, although my account is actually pretty reasonable. It is not a whale account. It doesn't have every champ and every gear in the game. So some stuff I actually can't reach. So this is a chance for you to see guides from a channel that it has a very realistic and normal kind of account that isn't some content creators boosted crazy whale account. If you would like to see more of this content, obviously sub. And if you liked it, like it. And if you didn't like it, I guess dislike it. It's still engagements. Thanks for the view. Thanks for watching. And as always, Have a good day.